Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a review and mini tutorial using the Practk All-Star Brush Set. And Practk is a brand that is a sister company to Sigma. They made a more affordable brush line, and I have a few of them to try with you today. They actually sent me this brush kit for my consideration to use in a video, and I love them, and I think that it is genius to start coming out with brushes that are a bit more affordable per unit. Makeup brushes do tend to run pretty expensive, but they are an investment since you are going to be using them for years and years and years. For example, I got my first round of Sigma brushes, and I honestly never replaced them in I want to say either 2013 or 14, and I still use them every single day. They're going strong. But I do understand that, $35 and up per brush can get really expensive when you're just starting to start your brush collection. So I think that something like this is a great starter pack. You have all your essentials here for the most part. You have a foundation brush right here. You have a powder brush, which I would use for bronzer and blush, not to set the face. And then you have like 3 essential eye brushes right here. You have a blending brush that you're going to use in the crease to blend anything in the lower lash line. You have a shader brush right here, which is nice and flat, and you'd use this to pack any color on the lid. Or you also have another option right here. This is the liner brush, and it's a nice angled brush that you can use to either smudge out the upper lash line, make a nice wing. You can even use it to smudge the lower lash line, or you can use it to fill in your brows, which is what I used it for today. You can also use it with a little bit of concealer to clean up the brows or clean up your lips when you go and put your lipstick on. There's just a lot of versatility in these brushes. I also use the foundation for foundation and concealer today because it's such a great size. The only thing that I personally think is missing from this kit is a tapered brush like this one. This is the F35 brush from Sigma. That's the only thing that's left on the handle. Everything else is rubbed off. And I just think that this shape right here is perfect for setting the skin underneath the eyes, setting right here in the T-zone, setting the smile lines. It's just a perfect shaped brush for setting and target setting your face with powder after you've gone in with concealer. And then the other thing that I think is missing is a highlighter brush. This is the shape that I prefer the most for a highlighter brush. I've tried a fan brush, I've tried a little tapered brush smaller than this one, I've tried a few different options, and this one just distributes the product way more flawlessly, seamlessly. You don't see a stripe of highlighter on the skin, and this is the Anastasia A23 brush. So these are the only 2 brushes that I would say maybe purchase in addition to this kit, but this is a great starting point. The quality is nothing less than Sigma, and I love that, you still have a great quality product right here. They look almost identical. It's just a more affordable option. So definitely recommend this, and it's only $35 for the pack, I believe. 35 or 38? It's $35 for the brush set, so that's a great price. And, if you throw in another 1 or 2, you're still getting an incredible value. So without further ado, I'm going to show you guys how I use these brushes to do this makeup look. So if you're curious, then go ahead and keep on watching. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the Practk foundation brush with my foundation. The one I'm using today is the Too Faced Peach Perfect in the shade Natural Beige. I've been using this foundation for years. I'm just going to go ahead and take a pump and a half onto the tip of the brush, and I'm going to disperse it around the face. Now, I like this brush because it has a nice small circumference, so you can really work it into the smaller areas of the face, like around the nose, with no issue, and especially like right in here in between the eyebrows. Now, I've never been one to buff my foundation into my skin in circular motions. I almost do this drag while pushing the product into my skin at the same time. It's a little bit of a hybrid motion. I just find that the product blends a lot better this way. And then after I've done a little bit of a general blend and I've dispersed the product, that's when I'll go and I'll just push the product into the skin to make sure that everything is blended evenly and not still sitting on the top of the skin. And then that is my foundation done. Now the other thing that I like about this brush is that it is small enough to fit underneath the eyes as well. So I just go ahead and use this same brush to blend out concealer. I'm going to use the Too Faced Born This Way multi-use high coverage concealer. And I'm just going to do a drop under the eyes, a drop in the outer corner, and that's literally it. I use the shade Natural Beige in this as well. And I like to start on the outside of the eye and kind of push the concealer in right here where I have discoloration, and I get a little bit on the lid as well. And then I'll go in and I'll blend this concealer down the sides of my nose a little bit, and then I will push the product in underneath my eye, and then I'll take it into this little inner corner as well, just to brighten up the whole eye area. So you guys can see a difference here to here. So out of the brushes that come in this kit, I don't see one that I would particularly reach for to set my skin. Yeah, you could use the powder brush, but it's not as tapered as I would like. So I would either go in with a tapered powder brush, or you can use the Beauty Blender to push powder in underneath the eyes. I'm actually not going to set my skin today just because this is a demi-matte foundation and I'm pretty happy with how this looks. So I'm going to go ahead and just skip the setting powder and move into the bronzer. So I like to go in with highlighter first. Today I'm going to be using this one by Lancome. This is the Dual Finish Highlighter in Luminous Gold, shade number 2. It's so pretty. And then this is the highlighter brush that I use always. This is the A23 by Anastasia Beverly Hills. I just dab the brush in and I tap off any excess. And then I'm going to go ahead and lightly fan this on the tops of the cheekbones while holding towards the end of the brush. I like to take just a little bit of whatever's extra on the brush and take it into this inner corner as well. It just adds a little bit of glow. So for bronzer, I'm going to go ahead and use the blush powder brush, and this is MAC Give Me Sun. I want a nice warm bronzer today. I'm just going to tap in, tap off the excess, holding towards the end of the brush, and very lightly, small circular motions, especially because we didn't set with powder first. You want to make sure that there's no skipping. So the further you hold at the end of the barrel of the brush, the lighter of a hand you'll have, and you won't have skipping with the product. Unless you're using a super dewy foundation that stays very wet. This is a semi-matte, so I'm not going to have much of an issue here. And I like to take this almost like a blush and bronzer together. And I'll take it on the temples of the face as well. I like this brush because it's nice and flimsy. The bristles, it's not very densely packed. So you can use a very light hand with product or build it up. And your bronzer, you won't run into the issue of your bronzer looking choppy and unblended as often as you would with a more densely packed powder brush. And then I'm just going to take a drop on the sides of my nose, a little bit across it, just a drop in the lids with whatever's left in the brush. I just want to add a little bit of bronziness across the face so we look nice and sun-kissed. And then you can go ahead and use the same brush if you want to add a little bit of blush to the skin. I'm going to use this one by Practk today. This is Spectra. And again, just dipping a little bit in. And I like to start in the middle of my cheek and pull it backwards. And I'm just going to add a little bit of color to the cheeks. Nothing crazy. Now moving on to the 3 eye brushes right here. This one I would use as a blending brush to blend and deepen the crease a little bit more, but since I just put a little bit of color with my bronzer, I'm not going to add anything else. And then you could also put more of your highlighter with the shader brush all over the lid, but I don't want anything too intense today, so I'm going to keep this as is. And then right here, the liner brush, you can either smudge some of your eyeliner or even a dark brown shadow at the base of your lash line here, Or you can use it, this is a great size, to fill in your brows, which is how I'm going to use it today, with some brow powder. So I'm just going to use a spoolie and brush my brows upward. And then I'm going to go ahead and use the liner brush, and I'm going to dip into my brow powder. This is the Benefit Foolproof Brow Powder in shade number 3. And I'm just going to add the slightest amount of extra definition to the brows because I do already have pretty defined brows, and when I'm doing a natural look like this, I just want to add a little something without going too overboard. And I really like how the bristles on this brush are not super firm, so you can create a nice flick with your liner or natural brow strokes. However you want to use the brush, it's going to work well with you. So that is it for the tutorial section of this video. I hope that you guys enjoyed it and found this review helpful. If you did, please don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.